And in this section, we're going to be going into quarter points theory. Okay, and I'm going to have two different videos here. This first one is going to be for finding major quarter point levels, and the second one's going to be for finding minor quarter point levels. Okay, and quarter point levels are essentially they're a way of finding support and resistance levels. Okay, but rather than having to look at the actual candlestick movement and what's happening on the charts to be able to find the levels, we're actually just looking at the price points, right? The actual digits themselves. Okay, and so like I said, we're talking about major quarter point levels in this section here. And it's pretty straightforward to understand what we're looking for here for our major quarter point levels. We essentially want to break down our charts, first off, by every 1,000 pips. Okay, by every 1,000 pips. So for example, 0.6 thousand. Right, that whole number is where we could have our first major quarter point level at. Our next one up would be 0.7 thousand. Okay, 1,000 pips up from there. Can anybody guess where our next one would be? 0.8 thousand. Okay, breaking it up every 1,000 pips. And from there, we would dive into these, corridors, if you will, and break it up by every 250 pips. So we'd go to 6,250. And you'll see as I begin to plot these levels on how accurate they actually are. 0.6500 and 0.6750. Okay, every 250 pips. And you can see as we put these levels on how accurate these quarter point levels actually are. And like I said, we're not having to look at the candlesticks and see, all right, where is price rejecting numerous times? Where is price using as support? Where is price using as resistance? We still have to be able to look at the charts to be able to see where price is near in terms of our price points, but we're just looking at the actual digits and how much the currency is worth. Plotting in on first every 1,000 pips, so 0.7 thousand, 0.6 thousand, 0.8 thousand, and then we break that down into quarters, so every 250 pips. $7,500, $7,750, just like so. Okay, and these major quarter point levels are going to hold a lot stronger than the minor quarter point levels that we'll get into in the next section. And those will be for more, intraday as well as scalping positions. But we can see just by plotting on these levels, they're spaced at every 250 pips, and we can see how well respected they are. As price continues to come back, it's continually using it as what was once support, then becomes resistance. And so being that they're, every 250 pips, the major quarter point levels, price isn't necessarily going to come to these levels a lot. But when it does come to these levels, it's going to provide a good opportunity to have more precision with your entry. For example, if we saw a price, come in, take rejections here, this double bottom, potentially a triple bottom off of 0.7 thousand and begin pushing off, moving to the upside. And then we saw price breach through 72.50, we could have watched for those retests to take place to take the buys off of 72.50. Okay, and this will work on, any currency pair. It will be a little bit different depending on the pair. For example, on something like USD JPY, since we only have 3 digits next to the decimal point, we would be at 110.00. And we'd be at 100.00. Next point, 120.00. Okay, the exact same thing as AUD USD every 1,000 pips. So our next step from this point forward is breaking these sections into quarters, hence the quarter point theory. So every 250 pips, so 102.50. Okay, 105. 500 pips up from 100. 107.50. Okay, now we've gone and broken that section, that 1,000 pip section, into quarters. And same thing as AUD USD. We'll see how applicable and respected these levels actually are to be able to use as extra levels of support and resistance, or those extra confluences. Okay, so like I said, it's fairly easy to be able to grasp. The best way is to hop onto your charts, go ahead and apply this a little bit, try to plot on some quarter point levels. Like I said, first we look for every 1,000 pips at the whole numbers. So on a pair like USD JPY, we'd be going 100, 120.00, 130.00, right? Every 1,000 pips. And then we break those sections into quarters. So every 250 pips, 112.50, 115, 117.50, then 1 to 20. Okay, and another pair, GBP CHF, for example. $1.2 thousand. Okay, 1.1 thousand. What will we do from there? Break that section into quarters. 0.1750. Boom. See how well respected these levels are? 1.15. Okay, so go ahead, apply this onto your charts a little bit, and really go see how well respected these levels actually are. Here's another beautiful one up here. 22.50. Where are we? There we are. And so oftentimes, people will say, oh, I'm always seeing price take rejection from these whole numbers. Right? I'm always seeing price come to these, super even numbers and then take a magic rejection off of it. And often we'll actually see what happens is price will come in and just wick off in the levels because they're that well respected. And I know we're on the daily time frame here, so we're not seeing that happen as much. But you're going to be a little bit mind blown by how effective these levels actually are and how much precision they can bring towards your trading. So with that being said, guys, these are the major quarter point levels. First, every 1,000 pips is where we place the quarter points at. Then we break those sections down into every 250 pips. Like I said, in the next video, we're going to be going into the minor quarter point levels, which will be for more of the intraday and the scalp type positions. With that being said, thank you guys for watching this video, and I will see you in the second part.